Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 2 of the What If series. This is where I explain or tell you all about my thoughts or my plans for Season 8 of Universe Mode if I did it. So I want to start with Monday Night Raw specifically. Because, that's episode 1. We have the roster set and everything's ready to go. But before the show can get underway, Sante Guerrero comes out, the Universal Champion of Monday Night Raw, and he is here to express his voice, or express his thoughts about his victory over Alex Carter at WrestleMania. And with that, he goes on to say this. 20 episodes and counting. 20 episodes and counting. Does anybody have a conception of how impressive that is? I'm in the top 10 longest reigning Universal Champions of all time. It is not a matter of question when it comes to how good I am. The question is, how high will I reach with this title reign? And I plan not just to become the longest reigning Universal Champion of all time, but also to break the record for most episodes as one reign of a champion. The record is 33, and I will break that. I will break through the glass ceiling that ties me down, and I will achieve success. I will step up and become something more. Nobody here on Raw can do that. So, Shawn Michaels, come on out and put up anybody you want. Do whatever number one contendership you want. I can wait till Extreme Rules, because it doesn't matter. I will knock them down, same as I did at WrestleMania. Against a friend of mine, I don't care who you throw me up against, I will defeat them. And instead, it is Triple H's theme song that hits, and he stands on the ramp and proudly proclaims that Shawn has stepped down from his services as Raw GM. He felt that it was time to give somebody new a place. To which Sante proceeded to respond with what? To possibly a legend who I've already surpassed in their legacy? Maybe Samuel Armstrong? No, couldn't be him. Maybe Class Par? No, he's still wrestling. Or maybe it's somebody who I've already surpassed in success, like Matt King. Triple H merely chuckles and says no. It's somebody that has achieved something you never have done. And that is achieve an Olympic gold medal. The new GM of Raw is Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle comes out, and he proudly announces that there will be a fatal four-way number one contendership with Andrade, Seth Rollins, and Bobby Lashley, as well as Shinsuke Nakamura as the main events of Monday Night Raw. Sante gets the night off. So that leads us to match number 1, Finn Balor versus Max Webb versus Mustafa Ali for the Hardcore Championship. Max Webb, of course, ending WrestleMania as champion. He, of course, walks away successfully defeating Mustafa Ali and Finn Balor, but pinning Finn Balor in the match. Now, right after the match, we go backstage. Kevin Owens is walking backstage to the locker room to meet with Blake Daniels. Now, of course, Batista puts his hand on his shoulder and basically says, hey, listen. Now, I'm paraphrasing. This isn't how I had exactly worded it, but he essentially extends the olive branch and mentions to KO how they used to be tag team partners called Kevtista on Monday Night Raw. Kevin Owens says that he's moved on to better and bigger and better things and shrugs off Batista's offer, saying how he doesn't need him anymore. We then go to matchup number 2. The Hitmen defend in an open challenge against the Hardy Boys, to which the Hitmen successfully retain. The two Hall of Famers continue their road of dominance as Raw Tag Team Champions. However, after the match, Adam Cole attacks Slim Reaper in the locker room. Afterwards, Kevin Owens goes out and competes because he wants a fight tonight. Kurt Angle happily obliged and gives him Akira Tozawa. Blake Daniels is out there as his chauffeur, his partner in crime. Kevin Owens defeats Tozawa convincingly, heads backstage only for Batista to jump Kevin Owens for a quick attack and makes his way out before Blake Daniels gets there in time. Following that, we have Velveteen Dream, the new United States champion, putting out an open challenge to the locker room, and out comes Rey Mysterio. Velveteen Dream successfully defends and defeats Rey Mysterio. This takes us to the main event, which is the Universal #1 contendership. The winner will face Sante Guerrero at Extreme Rules. You have Andrade, Rollins, Lashley, and Nakamura. It is, in fact, Lashley who picks up the win by beating Seth Rollins. After the match, Sante Guerrero stands on the entrance ramp, slowly applauding Bobby Lashley, but holding up the title as if to say, not a chance. That does conclude Monday Night Raw, so we head to episode 2. And it starts, SmackDown opens up, with James Arlington returning to address his future after defeating Colt Lee on the pre-show of WrestleMania and his goals for this season, and to address all of his previous shortcomings in the past couple seasons. But as he makes his way to the stage, Jeff Sanders floors him. Out of nowhere, a blindsided attack that stunned everybody. Well, maybe not everybody, but certainly me. Actually, no, because I wrote it. That's besides the point. The show carries on as Tyler Wolf wants to keep the show rolling. He basically says, separates them, sends them off in either direction. Now, opening up, there was a Hardcore Championship Fatal 4-Way match. Max Webb, Cedric Alexander, Aiden English, and Apollo Crews. Of course, Max Webb is the champion, but unfortunately, he loses. Apollo Crews pins Aiden English and is the new Hardcore Champion. Following that, the Authors of Pain face off against American Alpha for #1 contendership for the SmackDown Tag Team titles, only for the Authors of Pain to pick up the victory. Convincingly, might I add, by hitting them with the last chapter. I think I have that right. Nonetheless, we head to the Intercontinental Championship match, and it is Kyle O'Reilly sending out an open challenge, and it is the glorious one, Bobby Roode, who declares that he will dedicate this win to his former partner, Kurt Angle, who is now the GM of Raw. He unfortunately does come up short against Kyle O'Reilly, but never fear, for Kyle O'Reilly was attacked by the Lone Wolf. Baron Corbin, after the match, he goes into the corner, or starts heading to the corner, but all of a sudden hears something behind him. He turns around and is hit with the End of Days. Following that, we have the semi-main event. The new WWE Champion, Prince Metallico, defeats Adrian Gallardo. Open challenge, he defeats him, goes on the mic, and basically says that whoever will be the #1 contender for Extreme Rules, he looks forward to validating why he is the champion, and to prove to the world that he has successfully earned his right to not just be a prince, but a king, with the championship on his shoulder. We go to the main event. It is a Fatal 4-Way #1 contendership match for the WWE Championship. It is the Cruiserweight Champion Tyler Bate versus John Cena versus Drew McIntyre versus AJ Styles. And in fact, Drew McIntyre picks up the win against Styles and Tyler Bate, but pins Cena in the process. After the match, Prince Metallico heads down to the ring and stares down Drew McIntyre. This concludes SmackDown as we head to Episode 3, NXT. Now I know at this point, you all are probably bursting with energy and excitement as you hear my tales of craftiness and expert storytelling so far. That is sarcasm, because it's your opinion on whether you think it's good or not. You could think that this is totally bat off the walls crazy. But we have NXT, and make no mistake about it, I planned a big card. 4 title matches to be exact. The NXT Tag Team Champions open up defending their newly won NXT Tag Team titles. That is Next Gen. They fought the Lucha Dragons, which is Kalisto and Sin Cara, and defeated them. After the match, weirdly enough, EC3 attacks Tony Nese backstage, which was bizarre. But it seemed that EC3, when he did so, was in a fit of rage. Of course, after that, Maria, the new NXT Women's Champion, enjoying her second reign as champion, issues an open challenge to anybody tonight. And Alexa Bliss comes out and accepts the challenge. They compete. Maria picks up the win and successfully defends her NXT Women's Championship. Beats her clean, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But after the match, someone dives into the ring, and lo and behold, it is everyone's favorite wrestler, Shayna Baszler, who attacks her and chokes her out to the point where she has to be yanked off by the referees. Several, mind you, they manage to pull her off, pry her fingers off. She pushes over 1 or 2 of them and storms off, leaving Maria gasping for breath. Following that, we have Lio Rush and Tyson Cage fighting Lucha House Party, which is Lince Dorado and Grand Metalik. Rush and Cage pick up the victory, and afterwards Lio Rush declares that they are on the warpath toward redemption. Afterwards, Ryan Trapp defends his NXT North American Championship against Oney Lorcan, with, of course, Shane Thorne in his corner, but unsuccessful in their attempts to unseat Ryan Trapp as Ryan Trapp retains. Afterwards, Ryan Trapp goes backstage, and lo and behold, Class Par extends a hand and offers Ryan Trapp a chance to join the dynasty. But Ryan Trapp, of course, refuses. He doesn't like the morality that they possess. He disagrees with it. It's not it's not what he agrees with, and it's not something he supports. However, Class Par says that he has a great deal of knowledge that he can give him, and also can offer him a good place, and can put in a good word for him, considering that Class Par is still on the main roster. Ryan Trapp throws it back in his face and says that experience clearly hasn't done much for you, considering that you can't even control your own underlings, hence why you've been in so many factions. Class Par takes exception to that, and ensures that the message is clear that Austin Arrogance is looking after the looking to gain the NXT North American Championship, but the offer is still open for him to join them. Ryan Trapp basically says, "Come at me, bring him if you want. I'll knock him down." Following that, we have the main event. The NXT Championship is on the line. Ace versus Harper. Ace managed to defend his title successfully against Harper, but weirdly enough, Ace was attacked afterwards by EC3. Well, maybe not weird. EC3, of course, was the former champion and wants his title back. But even more bizarre, the screen gets all wonky. Static covers the screen. Then Bray Wyatt appears and basically tells Harper to come home to where he belongs. Come home, Harper. It's time to reform what we once were, but evolve into something greater and become something more powerful. Now that I'm free of this curse, I can command and unite us to become stronger and better than ever. And still be a voice of goodness and change upon the world. Come home, Harper. Come to my Firefly Funhouse. Cuts to black, and that's the end. Now, of course, I can't do any fancy editing with that, but That's why I threw up something here. Whatever I threw up right there. Yeah. That concludes it concludes NXT, and it takes us to Extreme Rules. Now I know how I probably have you at the edge of your seats. If I don't, well then I suck at my job. Or maybe it's because I'm trying to build up momentum, or maybe you guys just don't like it. Either way, feel free to clack down in the comments, and feel free to critique, criticize, and pick apart, and then destroy whatever ideas that I presented here. Nonetheless, episode 4, the first pay-per-view, Extreme Rules. Apollo Crews defends the Hardcore Championship against Elias, Mustafa Ali, and Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn, shockingly to some people, manages to pick up the win by pinning Mustafa Ali. After the match, Adam Cole attacks Slim Reaper. Of course he does. Nonetheless, the Hitmen go on out, and it's revealed that their opponents are the Undisputed Era. Joined by Adam Cole, Slim Reaper already bruised and battered from 2 attacks from Adam Cole. The Undisputed Era managed to pick up the victories with some help from Adam Cole. Afterwards, we have the Cruiserweight Championship match. Tyler Bate defends his Cruiserweight title. Ricochet manages to fight him, and not only manages to fight him and step in the ring with him, but beat him. So Ricochet is the new Cruiserweight Champion. 3 title changes, 3 for 3 so far. We'll see if the momentum can keep going, as the United States Championship is next, and it's a fatal 4-way. Velveteen Dream versus The Miz versus Rollins versus Nakamura. Of course, Velveteen Dream being a new champion, I would hate to kill his momentum. He successfully retains, and The Miz is the one who is pinned. So, 1 and 3 so far is our record for the champions. Following that, we have the SmackDown Tag Team titles, and the Authors of Pain steamroll their way over the champions, DIS, to become the new SmackDown Tag Team champions, winning their 3rd between the Raw and SmackDown belts, their 2nd reign with the SmackDown Championships, Tag Team titles. That takes us to matchup number 6, Kyle O'Reilly versus Baron Corbin. Kyle O'Reilly, after a hard-fought match in an Extreme Rules bout, Kyle O'Reilly successfully defends it. Afterwards, he heads backstage, and lo and behold, a discus forearm comes out of nowhere, and it is Cassius Ohno who decks him right there backstage. Semi-main event, Sante Guerrero versus Bobby Lashley. Sante, after a hard-fought Extreme Rules match, picks up the win and successfully defends the Universal Championship. That takes us to the main event, though, which is Drew McIntyre and Prince Metallico contending for the WWE Championship. And after a long, hard-fought battle, Prince Metallico overcomes the odds and retains in his 2nd title defense. So, that concludes episode 2 of this series, and it takes us to the first 4 episodes of Universe Mode. I'll have to spend some time and edit all this, so stand by. I have writings for the episode 2, 3, and 4, and almost done with 5. But feel free to put down your comments down below and your thoughts on my booking decisions, as well as what you want to see in the future, or what you hope things will come to, potentially who you see is in line for Money in the Bank, etc., etc., etc. Nonetheless, next up will be episode 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. We will go all the way to the SmackDown exclusive pay-per-view, as well as our first NXT TakeOver. Hope you all enjoyed the video. Leave a like and subscribe to the channel, of course, if you choose, but most importantly, and as always, suit up, Mad Army. I will see you all next time.